Apep. This is BornOfRa, Setepin Ra, Ramessu MeriAmun, and I'm back with another video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share the video with others so that this message can be spread, because people do need to hear this. You know, they always making Kemet look bad, making Egypt look bad. We have to spread the message to show that Kemet, or so-called ancient Egypt, is the author of all spirituality and all religious concepts. Meaning that we were the first. Everybody else bit off of us. With that being said, today's video is entitled Repulsing Apep, whom is the embodiment of evil. Repulsing Apep, who is the embodiment of evil. You know, you have a lot of people walking around with the Apep energy. And what does Apep represent? Apep represents anything that's completely unrighteous, anything that is pure evil. Evil in its purest form is Apep. Okay? And we have a lot of Apep energy today. People that commit very, very evil acts and do their fellow man wrong. You have to protect your energy. You have to protect yourself at all times, because the Apep energy could be anywhere. It could be in anybody at any time. So you have to be careful who you surround yourself around, because Apep energy is always lurking. Always. Apep is the enemy of Ra. Apep is the enemy of Ra. Okay? So what the ancient Kemetnu are letting you know, that evil is the enemy of God. Because Ra represents God and Apep represents the complete embodiment of pure evil. So in Kemetic mythology, on the Kemetic stories, our myths, all our myths, it talks about Apep trying to attack Ra, or constantly trying to attack Ra in his boat. Okay, so evil is the enemy of righteousness. Apep, the enemy of Ra. Ra, the representation of God. That's who we call God in Kemetics. One of our names for God in Kemetics. And Apep is what we call the embodiment of evil in Kemetic spirituality. And I also want you to understand that Apep is represented as a serpent. Apep was the serpent of chaos. Let me make sure I make that clear as well. So what we're going to do today, we're going to do something special. And I'm going to start doing this more often. We're going to go into the Repulsing Evil. And what some people who don't really understand Kemetic culture, some people call it the Egyptian Book of the Dead. So we're going to go into the so-called Egyptian Book of the Dead, which we call the Repulsing Evil in Kemetics. We're going to go ahead and we're going to read some words of power from chapter 9. And what we're getting ready to read, it shows that in ancient Egypt, they were not devil worshippers. They didn't worship the devil. They didn't worship evil. Okay? We didn't uphold evil as something good or as celebrate evil. We didn't do that in ancient Kemet. And this what I'm about to read from chapter 9 proves it. Because what we're doing here is we're repulsing evil, rejecting evil. So let's read what our ancient ancestors wrote. And this is what it says. Chapter 9, the chapter for repulsing Apep, whom is the embodiment of evil. Excuse me. Now, since this verse is talking about me, because every time when you read the Kemetic, Perdem Heru, it always puts you as the one who is being talked about. Hopefully you all follow me. In the Perdem Heru, it places you in the scripture. So it's talking about you. So in this case, we're going to use my name because it's talking about me. This is for me right now. But all of you are listening and getting the energy from what I'm about to read about me. Now, when you get your Perdem Heru and you open it and you read this, it's going to be about you. Let me make that clear. It's going to be about you because your name is going to go in the blank. Okay, so chapter 9, the chapter for repulsing Apep, whom is the embodiment of evil. And you can repeat this to yourself. You can recite this to yourself. It's good. Words hold power. So when we say these words, we're invoking the power to make these words come into being. I, Azar Ramessu, speak now to Apep. So I'm getting ready to speak to evil. You are the evil of unrighteousness, which strikes like a serpent and thereby draws human beings to their ruin. Listen, I have lived a righteous life, and I have discovered my greatness. I am not like one of those weak people who are powerless against your schemes and tricks of temptation and delusion. Your poison of desire, falsehood, hatred, and fear cannot enter me, for I am so subtle due to my purity that I am as if hidden from you like Amun, the hidden spirit which pervades all. 3. I am beyond your grasp because I am one with God. I am the single one who is in the primeval waters of creation. Thus, my essence is that of the gods and goddesses. 4. I am the same God, the supreme one, who has merit of mysterious names. I am the God who depends on nothing, but on whom all depends. I am the God who made the creation and who dwells there for millions of years. I was born of Temu, the first divinity that came into existence. I know this. I am one possessing the knowledge of the innermost truth. Hetep. Now we're going to meditate on that for a minute, those words. We're going to think about those words for a minute. And then we're going to go over it. Okay. Here we go. Let's break this down. Let's give it so you can get a more deeper understanding of what's going on, or maybe a simpler understanding where you can understand it more simpler. I'm going to make it simple. Okay, here we go. I, Azar Ramessu, speak now to Apep. So we're getting ready to speak to evil. You are the evil of unrighteousness, which strikes like a serpent and thereby draws a human being to their ruin. See, we're letting evil know that we know about you. We know, we understand evil. We know what evil is. We know that evil can destroy a human being. When you act in evil ways and you do evil acts, it destroys you. It destroys you. Okay, so unrighteousness will bring a human being to its ruin, to their ruin. Point blank. If you go around doing unrighteous things to people, somebody's going to get you. Listen, I have lived a righteous life, and I have discovered my greatness. Even if you haven't been completely on point your whole life doing the right thing, it starts now. So when you speak these words, it's starting at that moment. It's starting. It's starting. I have lived a righteous life. That means from the point that you said, I'm gonna change my life. And that's just like when the Christians say save, you're being saved. This is the same thing. I have lived a righteous life. You're declaring that. You're declaring it. You're putting those words out there. I have lived a righteous life, and I have discovered my greatness. You know who you are now. You're no longer lost. You know that you come from God. You know that you are here to do God's works. You have discovered your greatness. You're not lost like the rest of the masses who are still stuck in their ego. They think it's all about them. They're focusing on only them. You realize that it's not like that. That it's about the grand scheme of things. So you have discovered your greatness. I am not like one of those weak people who are powerless against your schemes and tricks of temptation and delusion. You're not weak-minded. You're not weak-minded. You discovered who you are. You know that you're a piece of God. You know that you come from the substance of God. Therefore, you're a God with a lowercase g. Not a capital G, a lowercase g. So you're not like one of those weak people who are powerless, meaning somebody can bribe them into doing something. Somebody can give them something to make them do something unrighteous. Like, for instance, give them money, give them some type of material possession that could make them do unrighteous acts. Basically pay them to do something unrighteous. Some people can be bought. Okay? So what you're saying is, what you're declaring is, you are not like the weak people on the planet who cannot control themselves. They're involved in all kind of evil. They can't live by the rules that the Great Spirit provided for us to live by. They're against that. They're an enemy of Ra. Tricks of temptation and delusion. Different tricks and schemes that evil uses to suck you in. Glorifying it. Glorifying evil will suck you in. Seeing people that's glorifying evil. Oh, because he's the most evil guy that you can imagine. He done a lot of evil things within the community, but everybody knows him. He got famous off of doing a lot of unrighteous stuff. For instance, Jeffrey Dahmer, he's famous for doing unrighteous things. So there may be somebody else that may see that and may say, hey, I want to be famous. They're glorifying evil. You see, so you're not the type of person that can get caught up in that trick. Doing evil things for fame. You see? So you're not weak and you're not powerless against it. Those are tricks and schemes. Temptation. temptation. You know something is wrong, but you're still tempted to do it. That's what you want to watch out for. Okay? Your poison of desire, falsehood, hatred, and fear cannot enter me. Desire is not a good thing. Desire can lead to unrighteous acts. Having desires. Someone can desire something so bad they'll do anything to get it. The only good desire, the only time desire is good is when you're desiring the things of God. Trying to be close to God, trying to be one with God, studying God. That's the only good desire, if you desire to become one with God. Falsehood. Being around fake things or spreading fake information. Hatred. Having hate for others and nature and all kind of things around you. Just being hateful. Destructive. Fear. Being afraid. Some people react and do unrighteous things out of fear. So fear is not a good thing. So what you're saying here is all these things that I just talked about cannot enter you. Your poison of desire, falsehood, hatred, and fear cannot enter me. You're talking directly to evil. Apep, which is evil. You're talking directly to evil, the lower nature. You're telling the lower nature that your poison of desire, falsehood, all this evil stuff can't enter me. Hatred is not in my heart. It can't enter me. This is what you're putting out into the universe, and you're speaking these words. For I am so subtle due to my purity that I am as if hidden from you like Amun. So you're so pure. You're so righteous that you are hidden from evil. Evil can't even touch you. You're hidden like Amun, God. God is hidden to man and to all of creation. It's a mystery. You see, no one has seen the face of God. You see? So Amun in ancient Kemetic culture translates to hidden. You see? The hidden spirit which pervades all. Amun was another name for God. The hidden spirit which pervades all. Which pervades all. 3, I am beyond your grasp because I am one with God. See, I got to repeat that one. I am beyond your grasp because I am one with God. You see? You hear that? Evil can't even grab you, can't touch you. Evil can't even put his grip around you because you're one with God. You're one with the Almighty. You're one with God. Those are powerful words to speak out into the universe. Those are powerful words. Words hold power. Everyone can agree with that. These are powerful words. These are words. That's why our ancestors called it the words of power. Because these words will make you powerful. I am beyond your grasp because I am one with God. I am the single one who is the primeval waters of creation. Remember, the water is the body of God. The water that all creation arose from is the body of God. Okay? All of us, everything you see, trees, us, animals, all of that arose out of the body of God. God gave birth to it all. God created it all. So, you're letting evil know that you are the essence of God. So therefore, if you're the essence of God, then you must conduct yourself like God. Meaning, spreading righteousness, doing righteous things, spreading love. These are the things. Thus, my essence is that of the gods and goddesses. Now remember, the gods and goddesses represent different attributes of the one God. Okay? So when you say your essence is like the gods and goddesses, you're still saying that your essence is like God. And that's excellent for you to speak that way. When you condition the mind to think that way, the body follows, the actions follow. You see? And this is what this is doing. This is conditioning your mind. These words are conditioning your mind so that you may conduct yourself in a certain way because of what you're declaring. I am that same God, the supreme one. And also this is God speaking through you, who has merit of mysterious names. You see what the ancestors wrote? You see what the sages wrote? And this is God speaking. God speaks through all of us. And they spoke, and God spoke through the sages of Kemet. The sages wrote here with God speaking through them. I am the supreme one who has merit of mysterious names. God has many names. Remember I told you this. They knew this in the ancient times. Okay? And it's also putting you in that role so that you may act like the divine, think like the divine, become one with the divine. I am the same God, the supreme one, who has merit of mysterious names. I am the God who depends on nothing, but on whom all depends. Do you hear this? God does not depend on you. God does not depend on any of us. We are dependent on God. Example, the sun, visual manifestation of God. We depend on that. Water, a manifestation of God. We depend on that. Air, a manifestation of God. We depend on that. You see? So God does not depend on you. You depend on the Great Spirit. God speaking through you. At the same time, you're declaring it. I am the God who depends on nothing, but on whom all depends. You see how deep that is? I am the God who made this creation and who dwells there for millions of years. A lot of people think God and the creation are separate. God and the creation are not separate. God dwells amongst us every day. God dwells among us every single day. You see what this says? I am the God who depends on nothing, but on who all depends. Why do you think they made the sun a symbol, a manifestation of God? Why do you think the our ancient African ancestors looked at the sun as a visual manifestation of God? Because all depends on the sun. So they seen the sun as a visual manifestation of the Great Spirit because the whole world depends on the sun. So that's why our ancestors say the sun is his right eye, the right eye of God, and the moon is the left eye of God. That's what they say in ancient Africa. In ancient Africa, that's what they used to say. And that still stands today. I am the God who made this creation and who dwells there for millions of years. Remember I said God never left us. God is not far away somewhere like they teach. No, God is here. God is amongst us. God is amongst us constantly throughout the day. This is true. Because God dwells in all of creation. Everything you see, every object you see has the essence of God in it, because it all contains atoms. It all contains atoms. It all contains it. So that's the essence of God. God dwells in everything, all of us, everything in the world. Okay? So not only did God make this creation, but God also dwells here. But a lot of people will say, God don't dwell here, all this evil. Yeah, God gave everybody free will. But God is just sitting back watching. But believe me, the spirit dwells here and dwells everywhere. The spirit realm, the physical realm, God dwells within both. Okay? I was born of Temu. Okay? That's another name for God. Because remember, all the gods and goddesses in ancient Kemet are aspects and attributes of the one. So it's still God. They're not separate. They're all one. From the one came many. This makes perfect sense. We see that in nature. You can have one seed, and that one seed can grow into a tree. That tree will grow a whole bunch of fruit, and you can take thousands of fruit off that tree and plant them, and you can make thousands of more trees. You see? So from the one came many. I was born of Temu, the first divinity that came into existence. I know this. I am possessing the knowledge of the innermost truth. So you're declaring that you know this. You understand. You understand. You're declaring. You're speaking the words out into the universe. You're speaking these words so that these words can be so. Words hold power. Everybody can agree with that. That's why they say, be careful what you say. Be careful what you say. So, I'm not going to make today's video real long, but I hope you all have a glorious, glorious day. And these words of power should help you to repulse evil, to reflect evil away from you. These words should help to promote a mind state that keeps you reminded of how important it is to do righteous actions. Okay? You repulse evil. You reflect evil. And these words can help you. It was given by God. Only through God can you be helped. That's the only way. That's the only way to escape reincarnation. I said this in one of my previous videos, how to escape reincarnation. You have to do righteous things. If not, the embodiment will continue and the experiences will continue. Whether they be good experiences or bad experiences, it's going to continue. And you don't know what bad experiences are in store for you. So that's why it's very important to do righteous things so that you can have the best chance to escape reincarnation and become one with God. That's the goal. Okay? That's the goal. And that's what the BornOfRa does for you. The BornOfRa leads you down the path of wisdom, which promotes healthy living, right action, right thinking, and therefore you could become one with God. You're not clouded with the world. And that's what the BornOfRa and the ancestors are trying to get across to you. you have to come out of the world. You have to come out of the world. And you have to focus on God. Okay? So, again, recite that chapter daily. If you can, I recommend it daily. Recite that chapter. And live righteous. This is BornOfRa, Apep and Ra, Ramessu MeriAmun. Like, comment, subscribe, share the video so that we can get this message out there so everybody can learn, everybody can, you know, get on the path to becoming wise. Okay? And it's a lot of different paths to God, but we're going to go over that in another video because like I said, I don't reject Christianity. I don't reject Islam, but like I said, that's a whole nother video and we're going to get into that. But with that being said, have a glorious day. Apep.